Okay, this is one of my most important drills called Find Your Center. It actually goes way back in PE history, and you can find examples of this in modern dance as well. But I like to use it this way. It's kind of a combination of everything that I've learned. So the idea is to get the children to have their feet parallel and flat. They oftentimes don't have their feet even, and they're not spaced properly. Once you get them parallel and a few inches apart, I like to have them go back and forth, front to back, leaning left to right, getting up in their toes a little bit, lifting their heels, and basically getting off center, out of balance, so we can come back to the center. So many times you need to go kind of off center to find the edges or the extremes, and then come back to the middle, or what sometimes is called the sweet spot. Once we go front and back, left to right, I like to do about 3 circles in each direction, and I'll let them just kind of roll around in their feet. Now, ideally, the feet will stay pretty flat here and not be lifting a lot and tilting. I like to keep the toes in the ground as much as possible. And here I am just kind of loosening up a little bit, and now the cue would be in my class, now find your center. And that means you're going to be standing with the least amount of work in a perfectly balanced spot. And from there, we do 3 deep breaths. And I teach my children to breathe through their noses, which is another big issue today with oral fascial health. A lot of kids are mouth breathers, and so teaching them to breathe through their nose is pretty important. Now, I want you to watch the hand motions here, because this is really, really super important. I'm also teaching them the finesse of movement and the art of movement. So we're not just flopping the arms up. Look at the integration of the hands and the arms with the whole body and the breath, maintaining the postural line. I like to do a little wave motion at the top, kind of like I'm swimming in water, and water is usually the cue that I'll use with this. And so that's how I start almost every PE class. We roll around in our feet, we go up and down, back and forth, make some circles, and then we do our 3 deep breaths, and then we move on. It's a centering drill from a mental skills training standpoint as well. They're focusing on their bodies, their feet, their breath. And there's no talking when we do this, ideally. Of course, with kids, you know how that is. So here it is, just a different side view. I want you to see this from different angles. So that was front to back, and now I'm rolling around in some circles. And remember, sometimes I'll come up on my the balls of my feet, lift my heels up a little bit, and then come back to center. So center is where you're standing with the least amount of work. And the idea is you should not be working hard to stand up. You should also be very, very relaxed. And so it's not a stiff military type posture here. It should be very soft and relaxed, but we're just stacked up properly. So I don't have to use a lot of accessory muscular energy to keep myself from falling forward or backward. Now watch the arm line here. So as I come back and breathe, I bring my arms back into my midline so they're in line with my armpits. Oftentimes with children, because of postural deformities and tightness in the front parts of the shoulders, they won't bring their arms back far enough. So we're actually getting a nice stretch here as well, just by the placement of the arms back into the midline. Here it is from the back view. Watch the hand motion at the top. It's very, very soft, and we go very, very slow, and we maintain a rhythm. So that's it. Find your center. It's one of the most important drills that I do in physical education.